Hi, it's Dwyer, GamblersAdvisory.com. A few days after Manny Pacquiao's victory over one Manuel Marquez in their third fight. Let's revisit that fight. I've made a video where I've told viewers that I thought that Marquez won that fight by several rounds. I had Marquez winning 8 rounds in that fight. In fact, looking at my scorecard, and the fight will be televised, everyone will have an opportunity to watch this fight. It's going to be part of HBO's Boxing After Dark telecast this weekend. It's definitely worth a look. I had Marquez winning 4 of the first 5 rounds. Let me also point out that I want people interested in this fight and scoring the fight to look carefully at the 12th round. If you believe Manny Pacquiao won that 12th round, then you're more likely to think that Manny Pacquiao won the fight. People who believe Pacquiao won believe he won that 12th round. I thought the 12th round clearly established that either the round is Marquez's round, at worst, the round is a draw. Right? Marquez seems to me to be having Manny Pacquiao run into his right hand. Right? Manny seems to be completely out of his game. Right? The ultimate opinion that matters is your opinion. I think this fight is definitely worth discussing. Now, let me just say that it's not Manny's critics alone who believe Pacquiao had a very hard time in this fight. It's actually members of his inner circle. Amir Khan trains with Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao's a stablemate. Amir Khan trains with Freddie Roach, right? Amir Khan knows something about boxing. He is a champion at 140 pounds. He was ringside for this fight. He had an excellent view, better than most. Understand that Amir Khan is quoted by BoxingScene.com, an excellent website, as saying that he believes that Marquez won this fight by 1 to 2 rounds. Right? It's not just Manny haters who believe that Marquez won this fight. Right? Let me also point out that Freddie Roach, in an interview with Philippine News, Pacquiao's trainer, actually says that he was surprised that Manny Pacquiao kept walking into Marquez's right hands, that Marquez led Pacquiao into his right hand. Now, the question has to be asked, and it's the million-dollar question here. How, with a huge foot speed advantage, how could Manny Pacquiao have ended up walking into Marquez's right hands? Right? I mean, couldn't Pacquiao have stayed away and easily beaten Marquez like Floyd Mayweather did? Right? How was Marquez able to offset the foot speed, quite frankly, the power and the hand speed advantages that Manny Pacquiao had? To me, the secret is simply in the styles fought by the boxers. You know, styles make fights, and when we say styles, understand that each fighter has different styles. Consider styles to be distinct skill sets, right? It's like talking languages. Some people are multilingual. They'll speak English, they'll speak Spanish, they'll speak French, they'll speak German, right? And I believe at the highest levels of the sport, you have to be multilingual in terms of your style, right? You think about Carl Froch for a second. You know, Carl Froch has a knockout punch. Carl Froch has power. Carl Froch can take you out and has taken out guys with a blitzkrieg approach. Look at his fight against Robin Reed, where Carl Froch is hanging in there, battering a guy with very heavy hooks. But yet, Carl Froch is multilingual. He speaks other languages. When he fights a guy who's even more aggressive than he is, like the Road Warrior, Glenn Johnson, who came forward on Carl Froch. When he fights a guy who's more aggressive than him, Carl Froch suddenly shows you an ability to fight off his back foot. And by that I mean he can back up, he can stick out a pretty good jab. It's an excellent jab. And he can have the aggressor running into his jab all night. And of course, Carl has other punches behind the jab. The point, though, is Carl Froch, a slugger, can literally go from fighting on his front foot to fighting on his back foot. And he can use an opponent's aggression against him, right? He can also force an opponent to follow him around the ring, right? You don't know, quite frankly, even though Carl has a punch, whether Carl Froch is coming or going, right? You can't tell until the round happens whether Carl Froch is going to be the hunter or is going to play the role of the hunted, right? Think of Vitaly Klitschko, one of the heaviest knockout percentages in boxing. But yet, at the start of a round, you don't know whether Vitaly Klitschko is going to come at you and pulverize you with the jab that he used to beat Sam Peter, whether Vitaly is going to say, hey, forget the jab, I'm just going to come out, this is a shootout, I'm going to treat this guy like I treated Shannon Briggs, or whether Vitaly is going to take some rounds off, like he did against Chris Arreola, and actually back up a little bit and use his height, his length, to kind of let the other guy come inside without really hitting him, right? Even the knockout punchers at the top rungs of the sport, throw-in variety, have different styles they can fall back on. Now, I've said for a while here online, to the chagrin of many viewers, trust me, I've gotten my share of very rough emails and comments. I've said for a while that Manny Pacquiao can't fight backing up. Now, what do I mean by that? I'm talking about the style Carl Froch used against Glenn Johnson. More particularly, I'm talking about the style of fighting mastered by Paulie Malignaggi. Right? Malignaggi, as many people know, at 140 and now 147, is a master at, backing up. His main punch is his jab. He actually injured his other hand. He injured his power hand. So he doesn't get a lot of knockouts. I think he has something like 6 knockouts total in his career. But Paulie Malignaggi is able to leverage his foot speed advantage and have you following him around the ring, running into his jab all night long, right? You run into Paulie's jab. He doesn't run into your punches, right? You run into his punches. Now, Manny Pacquiao, unfortunately, isn't able to fight off his back foot for a sustained period of time. Even when Manny Pacquiao, in fact, I don't think he's able to fight off his back foot at all, right? Even when Manny Pacquiao's backing up, like he did against Antonio Margarito, he's backing up in between ambushes, right? Pacquiao is a great offensive fighter. At 126, at 122, he was a knockout puncher. Guys didn't go the distance with Pacquiao, right? Pacquiao stopped you like Mike Tyson used to stop you in the heavyweight division, right? Very few guys went the distance with Manny Pacquiao, right? Pacquiao was not there to back up and win rounds, by backing up and having you run into a jab. His right hand, he has a jab. The jab is just to blind you for his straight left. Right? That's his game. It's landing a very heavy, and I mean very heavy, left hand. Right? His jab is just a placeholder to help dictate distance so he can then leap in with a great left hand. Right? The guys who have beaten Marquez, and Marquez is beatable. I'm not here to say he's unbeatable. The guys who have beaten Marquez have known how to fight off their back foot. Chris John, excellent jab. The Dragon, he's a champion, right? Chris John, as I make this video, is unbeaten, right? With Chris John, if you're coming forward, just like with Paulie Malignaggi, just like with Carl Froch against Glenn Johnson, you have to deal with his jab. It's there, right? If Chris John has a foot speed advantage on you, the fight's practically over, because he's going to use his superior foot speed to stay outside your technique, right? If you're a technician like Marquez, one of the ways to beat a technician is to stay outside their technique. He's going to be far enough outside of your technique, and he's going to keep you outside with a jab, right? He doesn't have to, even though John has a punch, he doesn't have to come inside and drop you to win the fight. He can literally stay outside, have his jab set the table for everything else. Floyd Mayweather beat Marquez. In that fight, Mayweather, who is multilingual, right? Mayweather's the definition of a multilingual fighter. Mayweather is outside, right? He doesn't spend a lot of time inside hitting Marquez. There are very few parts of that fight where the guys are close enough where anyone's elbow can touch the other one, right? Rather, Floyd is predominantly outside. He's shooting a jab. He has a great left hook that he can throw instead of the jab if he sees an opening. And, of course, he has a right hand, a straight right, that he can throw to mess you up. Defensively, he closes off his left side. He understood that he had a foot speed advantage on Marquez, so he's outside. Significantly, neither Chris John nor Floyd Mayweather found themselves running into Marquez's punches all night long. In fact, quite the opposite happened. It was very hard for Marquez to land meaningful punches against either, right? Now, all I'm saying is this. Manny Pacquiao, because Pacquiao, unlike Carl Froch or Vitaly Klitschko, because Pacquiao has to come forward to be effective against you, that's a recipe for disaster against a counterpunching technician, right? Pacquiao's at his best when he's fighting a hunter, and Antonio Margarito, who's trying to track him down. Then what Pacquiao's able to do is Pacquiao's able to take a step back, right? Stay outside. It's an ambush style. When he is backing up, he's not hitting you with punches like Carl Froch was hitting Glenn Johnson, right? He's not, hitting you with shots while he's moving backwards, right? Like Paulie Malignaggi does to every opponent. Take a look at Malignaggi against Juan Diaz online here on YouTube, right? When Pacquiao's backing up, he's just backing up between assaults. So Marquez knew that to be effective, Pacquiao was going to have to come inside. Marquez knew it. Marquez also knew that Pacquiao's toolbox really consists of a straight left hand. Pacquiao's a southpaw, right? And so Marquez knew that Pacquiao's going to come up to throw a straight left hand, right? Understand what that means. And you're going to see it when you see the fight, if you haven't seen it already. Is since Pacquiao has to land that straight left, Marquez was able to dictate the angle at which Manny Pacquiao approached him, right? Marquez isn't even covering up. You'll see it. Marquez isn't that concerned the entire fight by Manny's right hand. He knows the right hand, there isn't much there. Marquez, since he's fighting a southpaw, doesn't even throw a lot of jabs himself. He's just standing there. He doesn't have to use a lot of foot speed because Manny Pacquiao can't fight him on his back foot. So the fight's an eye-opener because Pacquiao looks limited, right? People wonder why Pacquiao's not moving around the ring. One is because Marquez isn't chasing him. Marquez is the guy backing up, and he knows Pacquiao has to follow him, right? He's, people are saying, oh, Pacquiao was the aggressor. Guess what? In fighting, sometimes a fighter is actually trying to be defensive. Sometimes the fighter is actually trying not to be the aggressor. Ali, Jimmy Young, right? The whole game plan, Ali, Rope-a-dope, Foreman, the whole game plan is to not be the aggressor. Marquez got everything his way. He's not the aggressor. Manny Pacquiao is following him around the ring like a little puppy. The foot speed advantage is gone because Manny Pacquiao can't fight off his back foot. He has to come inside, right? Marquez is then standing like this. He's guarding against a straight left hand. When Manny Pacquiao comes in and throws a combination, Marquez isn't worried about Pacquiao's right hand because Pacquiao can't knock him out with his right hand. He's just focused on his left hand, right? So when Manny Pacquiao comes in, Marquez just waits for that left hand, dodges it, and then, of course, as Pacquiao's momentum is taking him forward, then Marquez is able to counter with his right hand. He's even countering with left hands. Now let's talk about, in the last 2.5 minutes here, Floyd against Manny. And understand, Marquez, who knows both fighters, right? He's gone at least 12 rounds with both fighters. Marquez has said that Floyd beats Manny, that Floyd's style is literally a style Manny is going to find to be complicated, right? Understand, Floyd Mayweather, just like he was going backwards, being the defensive fighter against Victor Ortiz when Ortiz headbutted him because Ortiz hadn't won a round in the fight, and when Joe Cortez takes a point away from Ortiz, you'll notice that Mayweather is voluntarily up on the ropes. Floyd Mayweather is a defensive fighter, right? He's a pro who understands that it's better to be the defender rather than the aggressor against Manny Pacquiao. Not only that, Floyd's left hook is much shorter, and I mean much shorter, than Marquez's left hook. What that means is it gets there faster. Now, as you look at the Marquez-Manny film and you see Marquez landing a left hook against Manny, in fact, look at the end of the second round of the rematch, Pacquiao-Marquez 2, when Marquez hurts Manny with the left hook. Understand, if Manny is open to getting hit with left hooks by defensively minded technical counterpunchers, how's he going to cope with Floyd's left hook, which you know is coming? Not only that, can you imagine fighting Floyd where Floyd knows you can't fight off your back foot and that your one A-plus punch is a straight left hand? Could you imagine fighting Floyd under those circumstances? What Floyd is going to do is Floyd is going to neutralize the entire left side of his body. You know Floyd's defensive shell. He's turned sideways already. He has his head tucked behind his shoulder. He has a left hook that discourages you from going over there. And, of course, he has a jab. And he can fight on his front foot or his back foot. He's going to take away the left side of his body. Manny Pacquiao, just like with Marquez, is going to give up his foot speed advantage, trying to land a straight left hand, because that's what he does. He's going to be right in the line of fire for Floyd's right hand, just like he was for Marquez's. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.